Well, welcome to Beat Diabetes, but today is a little different because we're not really going to talk much about diabetes, if at all, although I guess I'm talking about it right now. But I have my lovely wife beside me, and this is a special day, isn't it, sweetie?
Yep.
What is special? That's the question. Of course, you already know from the title, but tell us what's special about today.
What is special about today is it's my birthday, yeah.
This is Benedicta's birthday. And, Benedict, you're kind of a mystery. You appear, in these videos, and we don't say a lot about your background. I mean, I mentioned that you're Nigerian, talk a little bit about some of the food you ate.
Nobody wants their background like that's been talked about.
But we don't really talk so much about, who is this person who sits beside me or stands beside me on some of these videos? Where does she come from? What does she do? What's her history?
History.
We're not going to solve all those questions and resolve all that in a short time. But right now, we're going to go to a little clip from a meeting that we did in Nigeria. And we actually were close to where you grew up.
Yeah, well, I grew up.
We did, actually, it was a Christmas meeting, and it was fun.
Very much fun.
Being in Nigeria for Christmas.
Yeah, they loved it.
So this was several years ago, but while we were there, we recorded a couple of little interviews I did with you as we were in areas where that were very familiar to you.
Right.
So we're going to go to that, then we'll come back and say a few more words about Benedicta's birthday.
Yeah.
And the building behind us might not look too special to you, might look like an ordinary African building you might pass and never even think much about it. But to Benedicta, this is a very special building because it goes back deep into her history. What does this building mean to you?
It means a lot to me because this is where I did my first primary school. Starting from year 6, and then from primary 1 to primary 6.
So probably from 6 years of age to maybe 12, you were here at this school?
Yes.
She came here every school day, and did you sit in chairs?
Yeah, we have what we call locker, and from primary 1 to we use desk, and when you get to primary 3, 4, and 5 till 6, you use what we call locker and a stool where you sit and have all your books inside the locker, and you go home with the ones you have to read at home.
So we can just imagine Benedicta as a skinny little 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old girl going here. She probably didn't look quite so glamorous as she does these days. But she learned, what kind of subjects did you learn in school?
Well, right here they teach us so many things: English, maths, Bible knowledge, agriculture, and so many other subjects, combined mathematics, like maths and all of that.
Okay. Were you a good student?
I was a good student, intelligent student.
And were you well behaved?
Well-behaved student.
Well, I've heard that African teachers are very tough, very strict. They carry canes around with them. Did you ever get a whipping of any kind?
Yeah, everybody did.
Another place we stopped was the area where Benedicta had lived with her stepmom in her growing up years. The house was no longer there, but we did an interview on the very spot where the little mud hut had stood. When Benedicta's dad had died, his 3 wives had to fend for themselves, and Benedicta's stepmom had a very difficult time of it. Even when Ben was a little girl, her stepmom was elderly and money was scarce. During Christmas time in those years, Ben and her mom were considered a charity case in the village, and some of the villagers would bring them a little rice and other foods to help them have a nice Christmas. When we arrived at Benedicta's former residence, several of the local folks came out to see us and to watch as I interviewed Ben about her time at this place.
Well, we are in a very special spot here. What's so special about this place where we're standing right now?
Where we're standing right now is where my stepmom that raised me and I lived for years.
So when Benedicta was just a small child, she was right here, but there was a building at this time. It's been demolished, but was it a very large building?
It wasn't a large building, but it was a moderate building to contain the family.
Okay, so she spent her many happy childhood years in this place.
My stepmom and I, this building, when it was up, when we were living in it, every year we, get some clay soil and the clay mud to paint our house and smooth it to make sure that it's really beautiful. And that will be for the Christmas. And I did a lot of buying and selling. I made, some local food and sell in the marketplaces.
Anyway, it is exciting to be here. I have been married to her for quite a few years. I have never been to her area, never been to her community. And now here we are standing on the very spot where she grew up, where she lived in a small little house with her stepmother. And this is a great blessing for me. How does it feel for you to be back home after all these years?
This is a great Christmas for me and a great time for me to be back home, and I would just say that this is a miracle.
Well, that's a neat remembrance, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
I will never forget that that mission. I'm so glad we did it. It hurt a little bit to be away from America for Christmas, but we were with your family.
Time.
It was a fun time. But let's talk about birthdays. One of the things that it kind of saddened me when I got to know you and we started celebrating your birthdays, and you told me that there were birthdays that you just didn't celebrate at all. You didn't go out, and you just didn't celebrate some of your birthdays.
Well, it's just that in Africa, especially if you grow up in interior villages, we regard birthdays as rich people's things, and sometimes it's not really what. Growing up as a kid, nobody did birthday kind of a thing. But when I was growing up, we didn't really do it either because we kind of, like I said, rich people's kids. Do it. We go and, stand by and watch them do what they do. And
so, let me get this straight. You grew up in a family that was not wealthy, but sometimes you'd go and observe a rich family having a birthday celebration.
Exactly.
But it didn't happen for you.
No.
So, most of us Americans, we couldn't wait till it was our birthday, and only a month away to my birthday. It's only 2 weeks for my birthday. It's only 5 days for my birthday. Yay, today's my birthday.
Yay.
And the presents and sometimes a party, and, it's a big deal for you.
Right.
Birthday would come and go. You would hardly know it was your birthday.
Right.
And even as an adult, well, I guess even more so as an adult, it was hardly a thing to observe. And I'm guessing from all that you've told me, there were years that your birthday came and went and you didn't even realize your birthday had come around, maybe?
Yeah, because I remember by myself that, okay, this is going on, but I didn't really make a big deal of it because I have, grown up seeing it come and go. So whenever it comes, I know, okay, this is another one of the birthdays. Thank God, praise God, hallelujah.
So no birthday presents, no phone calls from anybody saying happy birthday, Benedicta, and none of the rest. And I know there were a few years, especially that one year where you were so sick and doing so poorly. You were hanging on just to live, and that particular birthday, it was probably just a day of misery for you, and maybe you didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I didn't really, care about the birthday that year. It was a year that I was kind of thinking one way, how do I get better? So, yeah, no.
So,
no birthday.
It saddened me and touched me just to think of this lovely lady struggling for her life, for her health, and her birthday coming and going and never even recognizing it. Nobody saying happy birthday, no presents at all, no phone calls, nothing. And now there were times when you were prospering a little better that you would treat yourself, right? You'd go out all by yourself and buy yourself a special dinner? Or?
Yeah. When I was healed from the, illness, I was kind of happy that, kind of chapter has gone. And so I kind of started treating life differently and started celebrating myself and celebrating everybody around me. And so When it comes, all I had to do was to just buy myself some nice things, and then sometimes I'll go to the restaurant and eat, and sometimes I'll cook, nice food and eat at home.
Yeah. But even that kind of saddened me to think this sweet, wonderful lady has to celebrate her own birthday, go out and buy herself something, has to buy herself a little extra food.
Yeah.
So I determined that once you got to America as my wife,
Yes.
you were never going to have a birthday that wasn't celebrated and a big deal wasn't made over you. And so one thing I wanted to do here with you all, I thought, what better way to celebrate than to share her birthday with all of our Beat Diabetes friends? And what I'd like to ask a special request of you. And that is, I would request that you would give Benedicta birthday greetings in the comments below this video and tell her where you're coming from. In other words, if you're from any country other than the U.S., tell her which country you live in. So, happy birthday from Germany, happy birthday from Australia, wherever you live. If you're from the U.S., mention the state you live in. Happy birthday from Georgia, happy birthday from Oklahoma, wherever you live. And so she can just read down those comments, and we're going to make up for all those birthdays where nobody paid attention to her, nobody called her, nobody gave her a present. I've given her presents, so you don't have to send any presents, but a birthday greeting and mention where you're from. And do you promise you're going to read all those comments?
Yes, I promise I'm going to read every one of them.
There you go. She's promised she's going to read all your comments, your birthday greetings, and you tell her where you're coming from. And I have a feeling there'll be a whole lot of different nations and different states, people saying happy birthday to Benedicta.
Well,
so
I'm going to love it.
Just a short little video to share this with you. I know it's not nearly so heavy and deep as the diabetes stuff, although we try to keep that a bit light too. But I know a lot of you care a lot about Benedicta, and you remark how much she means to you as she makes these videos. So wish her a happy birthday, and we will see you in the next one.
And to crown it all, I'm not eating anything that will be contrary to what we teach today. I'm keeping it low sugar, no carbs, no low sugar. So it's, we're still in the routine.